syllabus, okay, for our during our session last Monday. Okay, so what will happen today is the plan is to go through a bit on the syllabus, and then I will explain again lah, very briefly what we discussed last Monday, okay, especially on the group assignment, okay, and also the individual assignment. Okay, so as explained last Monday, we're going to have no exams, okay. So just 2 assignments, one group, the other one is individual assignment. Okay, the group assignment will consist of all 5 chapters. So maybe some of you are wondering what are the 5 chapters about. Okay, so basically what happened the last few days, I went to the UEM library website, okay, and then I managed to download, I think, around 53 theses. So you can check the link. I will put the link here in your chat box. Okay, so basically everyone can actually search the journal, the full thesis from your library website. Okay, so you can go to your chat box, okay, and click on the link. Maybe you want to bookmark the link. So basically what you see here is once you click on the link in your chat box, it will bring you to this page. So basically UEM library provides access to thesis, okay, PhD and master thesis. But the recent changes in the setting, previously lecturers can download the full thesis, okay, but not students lah. But now I think they've changed the setting whereby even the lecturers have no access to full thesis. Some of the theses are still accessible full. You can still get full thesis from the link. From your search result, depending on the authors. If the authors allow full thesis access, then you can get the thesis lah. For example, on page 24 here, I just put a simple keyword economy, okay, in the online thesis search. Okay, so what happened was, okay, I just went through at random lah some of the thesis which we still give me full download. Okay, for example, if you click on for example like this link, okay, okay, so for example, if you get something like this download, okay, without any restriction warning, meaning you can get the full thesis. Okay, but for some, I think especially on the more recent title, okay, like this one I think was published in 2015. Okay, but if you are referring to 2020, 2021 thesis, you might not get access to the full thesis. Okay, you can experiment this on your own. Okay, for some reason it's a bit slow on my side to access the library website. Okay, this morning it was working fine. Okay, but I think the network might be having a bit of congestion. Let me see. Okay, never mind. While waiting for the link to actually reload again. Okay, so why am I downloading this bunch of thesis? Okay, so first we have around 10 groups, right? I think in total. Okay, so 10 groups, meaning I have around, so I plan to download more, maybe around 70, 80 thesis if possible. So why so many thesis? So the plan is for me to share this thesis in in one Google Drive, my own Google Drive, and then you can download this thesis, and then we will use this thesis part of our discussion during the semester. Okay, for example, when we learn how to write introduction, okay, so we can refer to this thesis, and so this is where the discussion will take place, okay, either by individual or by group. Okay, so the thesis that you chose, so I will maybe allow you to choose any of the thesis that I provide, okay, or you can even download on your own, which is not available in the Google Drive. Okay, so you can still download because there's still plenty of thesis yet to be downloaded. Okay, for example, if you click on this title, you can download the full thesis. Okay, but if you go, for example, let's say, okay, this one. Okay, so far you can still download. All the title which I click. Okay, there is no restriction. Okay, you can just click on the download. Okay, let me see if I can find, especially if you go for the more recent one lah. Okay, let me. Okay, for example, 2021. So this is the latest one. Okay, if you click on this one, okay, and you see this restricted to repository staff only. So if you come across title like this, meaning that you cannot download the thesis, you can only download like the abstract, like the first few pages, but not the entire thesis. So if you find something like this, so just skip, and of course you can get the full thesis. You need to contact the author, and they will grant you the permission if they do, but it will take, but our concern is not actually we're not really interested in the actual topic, okay, or the issue discussed. So the agenda, the purpose of sharing you this thesis is basically to see how actually to write or how actually the authors discuss or break down the components, the thesis into the 5 chapters. Okay, so you know that a standard thesis have 5 chapters. Okay, the introduction, the literature review. Okay, for example, like this paper, this project here. Okay, so any standard master's thesis or PhD thesis or even undergraduate thesis, the one that you are doing right now, and even also for your later when you go for your semester 7, okay, you're gonna start with you're gonna do your thesis project, the 6 credit hour thesis. Okay, so the format will more or less be the same. Okay, so the idea for BER 3043 research method is for me to teach you how to write a complete research project, okay, from the introduction until the conclusion. So if you notice from last Monday discussion, when I mentioned that 60% of your remarks will come from your group assignment and you need to come up with all the 5 chapters. Okay, whereas for individual, only for 3 chapters. So what are the 5 chapters versus the 3 chapters? Okay, 5 chapters mean, okay, if you look at any thesis from the library, okay, the first chapter will be the introduction, okay, whereby this is the part where you need to mention what is your objective, okay, and then, okay, this thesis is a bit slightly different, okay, but let's see another example. Okay, so this is in Malay lah, so you can find many theses in English as well. So I downloaded just at random. Okay, I don't really read the. I try to find articles or theses as close as possible to economics that has some economics issue. Okay, for example, like this one, introduction will be chapter 1. Chapter 2 will be the literature review. Okay, and then chapter 3 will be the method. Okay, the research method. What are the methods that you plan to use in the research? And then chapter 4 will be the findings or the dapatan kajian. Okay, the discussion of your results. Okay, and finally chapter 5 will be the conclusion lah. Okay, what are the conclusion? So that will be the, for example, chapter 4. Because this author, they have the person put another one separate chapter on this thing, so that's why she has like 6 chapters. Okay, usually chapter 4 will be the results. Okay, and then chapter 6 will be the discussion or will be the conclusion. So basically, in your group assignment, okay, you are required to produce all the 5 chapters. Okay, so and that when I discuss the component 20% digital skill, which comes from your skill of getting the articles, okay, referring to journal papers or even thesis, okay, that you refer to, or any sources like newspaper, but newspaper cuttings shouldn't be the main resource lah. The main should come from journals. Okay, and also how you use the computer program, for example, SPSS, how you construct your questionnaire. So that will come from the digital skill. The 20% communication, I think when I discuss some 10% from your writing, 10% from your presentation. The 20% here come from your chapter 4, which is the discussion, the discussion of your results. Okay, so I think the part that I did not discuss last Monday is that because you are required to write up to 5 chapters, meaning you need to have data for you to analyze lah, for you to process, okay, for you to analyze and put it in chapter 4. Okay, So without that data, you cannot have any. I mean, you won't have anything to analyze. So that brings the question: what data should you use? Okay, for this project. Okay, given that this is only a 3 credit hour paper and you have 2 assignment to complete. Okay, and then so what? As I mentioned this morning in Group B. Okay, I got 2 classes, right? Group A and Group B. Group B 8:30 a.m. this morning. So the same will apply to Group A as well. So what is required for you to do? Usually for BER 3043, okay, when it comes to analysis, okay, for your chapter, what are the method that you're gonna use, and what will be the result, or what are the expected outcome. So usually for chapter 3, okay, most of the time you will use primary data. Primary data means data that you get from questionnaire, meaning that you will need to construct your questionnaire and get the data from the questionnaire lah. So of course, if there is no COVID-19, maybe you can collect your data using face-to-face interview, meaning that you're gonna do a field work, okay? But even if there is no COVID-19, okay, it's not a compulsory for you to use face-to-face interview, meaning you meet the respondent and get them to answer your questionnaire. So is it necessary to use primary data, meaning that is it necessary to use questionnaire for you to collect your data? Why can't you use secondary data? Secondary data means data like export, import, GDP, inflation, exchange rate, all those data that you can download from sources like Bank Negara Malaysia and whatnot. Okay, I think most of you, okay, maybe except some semester 3 students, okay, have taken the basic econometric subject, whereby in that subject, you already learn the regression, correct? Okay, the OLS, ordinary least square. Okay, you already learn how to interpret the regression, whether you are using Stata, you are using eViews, or you are using Excel, depending on who your lecturers are. I mean, when you took the subject, okay? But regardless, okay, in that paper, basic econometric, the focus will be on secondary data, okay, to run the regression. Okay, so that's why it's very common that for this subject, for research method, the focus now will be on primary data because you already learned how to do the regression in basic econometric. But so I think that for most lecturers, okay, when it comes to assignment or project, okay, students usually will focus more on the primary data by means of using questionnaire. Okay, so that is if you can see here, for example, soal selidik or interview. So we're going to rely on primary data. So that begs the question, who will be your respondent? Regardless what topic that you want to do, okay, do you need to actually collect actual data? For example, you want to analyze, something to do with COVID-19 on the B40 group, okay, pendapatan kumpulan B40, impact on the B40 people. So do you actually need to find the B40 respondents and give them the questionnaire? Okay, my answer is no. Okay, so what you need to do is, okay, later lah, of course, I mean, it's still a long way to go before you can actually construct your questionnaire, okay, and then send the questionnaire for, to be answered by your respondent. So what will happen is that, okay, your respondent will be among your colleagues, among your friends. So even though you are doing something on B40, for example, okay, but you are not expected to actually go and send or identify respondent that belong to the actual B40 group. Okay, you can ask your friends or your group members from other subjects, okay, to be your respondent, meaning that they will pretend to be the respondent lah. For example, if you want to do something on Food Panda, okay, for example, something to do with the Food Panda business, you want to ask about, your respondent will be among the riders, okay, orang yang bawa motor tu, okay, the riders of the Food Panda. Okay, so in actual research, of course, you need to go and meet the Food Panda riders lah. You need to wait somewhere because usually Food Panda riders ni they have places for them to lepak. Okay, to rest, okay, or sometimes they wait outside popular restaurant like KFC, McD, you know, where these are the common places for the order to come. Okay, so you can actually meet them and then ask them to answer some questions while waiting for the orders to complete. Okay, but because I don't expect you to go and do the field work, so but the questions should be actual questions, meaning that the questionnaire that you construct will be the if you were to do actual survey, but the respondent will be among your friends, meaning you can ask your roommate, okay, your group, your not your groupmate, I mean friends from other classes, you know, your whomever that you want, but not yourself lah. Okay, to answer as though pretend that they are the food panda riders lah. Okay, so I mean I don't really concern about the actual answers. Okay, but it's just the process of you constructing the questionnaire and then sending the questionnaires via online link, and then finally once you get your data, okay, how many respondents, that one I will decide later. Okay, how many questionnaires that you need to send and key in the data. Okay, that one we will decide later. Maybe 50, maybe 100, okay, per group, because you got like 5 members per group. So even if one person, you know, do like 30 respondent or 20 respondent, which should be no problem lah, because everyone got many friends. Okay, your WhatsApp friends. So even among our classes, our own group, okay, I mean we have around 45 students, so minus your own group, so each of the group, each of the other group members can become the respondent as well. So that's already like 40 students for you to get the response already. So you answer their questions, they will answer your questions, but the remaining question will come from, you know, the remaining respondents can come from your friends from other classes lah. Okay, so I don't really care about the topic. I mean, in terms of who will be the food panda riders, if you're doing something on food panda lah, for example. Okay, so my main concern is the process of you transferring the data into SPSS. Okay, mainly we're gonna use SPSS, okay, to analyze the data in the primary form. Okay, and then and so that will be the chapter number 4 lah. I mean chapter number 4. Okay, where you're gonna present the findings. Okay, whether it makes sense or not, that one for me, I don't really care, because your data is not the actual data. So your findings may not be tak logik ke apa ke, but as long as you can present the result properly in a nice table. Okay, how do you know that your table is nice looking or not? That's where the past thesis, okay, the one that I downloaded, and you can also find some other thesis as well, for you to refer to how PhD student, master students, you know, present their table. Okay, when you look at this thesis, you don't, I mean, you don't need to understand what they are discussing, but just looking at how actually they present the results, you know, using the what kind of table. Okay, so if you want to use ANOVA, for example, okay, ANOVA you learn in your basic stats. So here, when you use SPSS program, okay, so the lazy students will copy and paste directly from SPSS and put it directly into Microsoft Word. So that is not the right way to present the table, because table that you get directly from computer program like SPSS is not a nice looking table. So you need to construct, you know, a simple table from Microsoft Word, for example, and then present your result in a nice way lah. So this is where the thesis, okay, will come in handy. For example, table like this. Okay, so this is a simple table that you just do in a matter of few minutes. Okay, on your own, not directly copy and paste from SPSS. So it looks very simple, but yet very nice looking. So these are the common or standard type of table that you will see in many theses. Okay, and this is where I would expect for you to present how you will present your findings in your chapter number 4. Okay, because remember chapter 4 will contribute around 20% in your analysis skill. Okay, so how you present and how you interpret. Okay, so there are plenty of examples for you to refer to. Okay, many of the theses that you can find in the library website here, the one in this link, are using primary data. So meaning primary means they are based on questionnaire. Okay, so this is the part where I did not discuss last Monday, where your data will come from. So you don't need to worry about, I think that way you can get your data. Let's say if I require every group must get around 200 samples, for example, 200 or 200 respondent. 200, if you divide by 5 students, one student will require around 40 respondent each. 50 times 40, already 200. So 40 students, I think shouldn't be a problem, because you can ask your friends from other groups, even your friends not from UM also, to do a quick answer, okay? Because it just take maybe around 5 to 6 minutes to answer your questionnaire. Okay, so that one, how many respondent, okay, we will discuss later lah. But the source of the data, okay, will come from your friends, okay, and maybe your family members also can lah. Okay, so that is for the group assignment. Okay, and then for the individual, as we mentioned, you only do up to 3 chapters, meaning that the same topic, but the writing on your own. So the focus on your individual will be on the quality of your writing. Okay, so as I mentioned last Monday, okay, it's understood that when you work in group, sometimes the quality may not be very good, because you contribute in chapters, or you contribute your parts. Okay, so when you put together in one project, sometimes there's a lack of coherence. So this is where, if you think that that you need to write on your own, so the quality of writing, plus you need to check for turning in and put the turning in result as well in the submission folder. Okay, same with the group assignment. So I think having said that, I think it's not really that taxing or membebankan lah for you to complete these 2 projects. Okay, given you have a lot of time. So you already got your group members established. Okay, so once we start learning on this subject, okay, especially okay, what are the possible topics for you to do? So maybe I will set a deadline, okay, for everyone, every group to submit their like a short proposal, like a 1 or 2 page proposal. What are the topics? What is the topic of your research, so that there is no 2 groups are doing exactly the same. Okay, so we have 10 groups, meaning that I will expect around 10 topics lah. Okay, you might have something similar in terms of the scope, but not two exactly the same title lah. Okay, so there's a lot of things for you to discuss. To do, especially because you not really need to worry about getting the actual respondent. So your respondent might come, let's say, from petani, farmers, for example. Okay, in the real world, you need to go and meet them lah. So if you are really concerned about topic that got to do with paddy farmers, for example, you can do that as well. There are many research that you can find in the library. Okay, from this link. Okay, you type the right keyword and you should find something to do with farming in Kedah, for example. So you can do something like that. Okay, but the concern, the questionnaire should be based on something to do with that issue lah. Okay, but you're not required to meet the petani lah yourself. Okay, so that is the idea of the whole thesis project. Okay, so let me go through the syllabus first. Okay, so we have around 9 topics to cover. Okay, the 9 topic actually not really that much to discuss lah, because this is just writing your report. Okay, so chapter 1. Okay, so the book that we're gonna use beside the Mr. Fuad, okay, so last class I already given you these 3 books by Kotari, Ranjit Kumar, and the other one by Panic. Okay, but the 2 books that I'll be using most of the time will be Kotari and Ranjit Kumar. Okay, especially by Kotari, because I think the way the authors present the notes, I think closely match our syllabus, and it's quite easy to follow and understand. Okay, so for example, okay, so in chapter 1, introduction to research. So this one I may spend around today and also maybe next week. Okay, so we talk about the differences between applied research, basic research. Okay, and then okay, and then when we go to chapter number 2, so this is the part where it becomes more interesting in terms of the discussion. So when I once I provide you with the link on Google Drive, okay, to download all of these theses, okay. So let's say one group take around 5 theses, okay, five theses for your reference, okay, for you to refer in the, okay. So the title of the thesis basically follows by the metric number, I think S. So these are all metric numbers. So I think it's like first come first serve basis lah. Okay, so if you you can use someone from the group as well can construct another live Google Sheet. Okay, so that if let's say group 1 selected this thesis, okay, these 5 theses, so the other group cannot use the same thesis lah. So you can just use the title of the metric number, okay, as it appears to refer to the, I mean, whatever file name that we are referring to, okay, so that we don't have the same discussion from other group, okay, referring to the, I mean, as it is right now, there are 53 theses, okay, so I will find more, maybe put it around 70, 80 theses, okay, so meaning that you have a lot of choices to go for lah. Okay, or you can even use your own topic that you find that you can download from the library website. Okay, because here I just use the keyword economy. Okay, if you type a different keyword, you may find different set of thesis as well. Okay, so yeah, and then that 5 thesis, maybe 5 thesis per group, okay, will be used during our discussion. So let's say if let's say at that week, that particular week, we are talking about identifying the problem. What is the research problem? Okay, so maybe, you know, I will just call any group at random, okay, and then call a person, another, you know, one member from your group, okay, at random, okay, and then you need to share your screen lah, of course, okay, what is the thesis that you have selected, and then just point to the research problem part, okay. So I will actually, okay, maybe inform you guys in advance. So this week, we're going to focus on the section of the research problem. So, so meaning that you're going to do some preparation lah, based on the thesis that you already selected. Okay, so I mean, it depends on what thesis that you chose. So I will not tell you, okay, you must read, you must discuss this title. Okay, so if just, you know, just refer to the thesis that you have chosen. And then when I say, okay, what is the research problem? So I just want to, you know, everyone to actually participate, especially the on that particular group lah. Okay, and the other groups can just, you know, see how the discussion is being presented. Okay, so that is the idea of using the thesis as discussion during class. Okay, because there's no point talking in theory because the book basically just give you discussion more on the surface, but the actual writing, the actual example will come from past thesis that you can refer to, and then use that as your guideline. Okay, you don't really need to understand per se the issue because that is not the focus, but at least, you know, you can understand roughly, okay, what the authors are trying to say, because this is not like a scientific paper like, you know, chemical engineering. So these are all social science subject which I think quite easy for you to understand in terms of the discussion, even though the topic might be a bit slightly heavy. Okay, but the focus is just how the authors present the idea, okay, determine what is the objective. So that will just be the focus during our discussion. Okay, at the end of the day, I do not want to do the talking. So maybe this is the last class where I'll be talking a lot lah. Maybe next class onwards, okay, it will be like, you know, 50-50, 60-40. You do the discussion, so I will just guide you to do the discussion lah. Okay. So, okay, going back to this syllabus. Okay, so chapter 2, I think the focus will be more on, you know, highlighting what is the research design, what is the process, okay, when you want to do research, okay. And then chapter number 2 also, you can see here data collection, interpret. So basically, this is the process of doing research, okay. But once we go through chapter by chapter, meaning chapter 1 is your introduction, okay, chapter 2 is your literature review, then you can understand the layout of any standard thesis. Okay, for example, like this paper just now, right? This thesis. Okay, you can see clearly that, you know, all the 5 chapters how the 5 chapters are being organized. So the standard 5 chapters procedure, chapter 1, introduction, chapter 2, literature review, chapter 3, the method, chapter 4, the finding, chapter 5, the conclusion. So that is basically the research process. Okay, but of course you need to determine what is the topic that you want to do, what is the issue that you want to analyze. So those are the early part of doing any research. Okay, the analysis part, the data collection, that one will come later. Once you are clear on what you want to investigate, okay, what is the issue that you want that you are trying to study lah, and then you can proceed from there. Okay, so that is chapter 2. Okay, and I think most of the discussion will focus on this thing, research problem. What is the problem statement? Okay, if you go to any thesis, okay, I think 99% of any thesis will have this part here, this penyataan masalah. This is in Malay lah. Okay, if you go find any English thesis, let me find. Okay, because I do not know. Okay, like this one. Okay, so this is an English. Okay, you can see here problem statement. So any thesis will have this problem statement section. Okay, so whenever I examine any PhD or master student, okay, I will always mention this. Okay, whether to my student or in a viva session. Okay, when they are presenting their final thesis. Okay, problem statement is where usually I will read more, meaning I want to focus. Okay, before I go and read the whole thesis. Okay, problem statement is where it's like that is the heart of the thesis. Jantung thesis kamu tu duduk dekat sini lah. Okay, because that will this section will actually determine whether what you are planning to do for the rest of the thesis, there is a clear issue. Okay, apa yang kamu nak buat, what you want to do. Okay, and there is a clear problem, and the problem has, and what you are proposing to do in your study. Okay, you are already outlining that in the problem statement. So any thesis, okay, should have a problem statement section. And the discussion in chapter 2 here, it looks just a small item under this research process. Okay, but the problem, determining what is the problem of that you want to investigate. Okay, what is the issue that you want to highlight? That will be the main focus of your thesis, will be in the problem statement. Okay, once you are clear on the problem statement, then the rest will come quite easily. You know what is your questions, what is your objectives. Okay, but if this is not clear, the problem statement, then the rest will become difficult for you to actually construct. Okay, so that is chapter number 2, research process. Okay, and then chapter 3, preparing the research proposal. The word research proposal here, okay, what is research proposal? Okay, if you go to a bank and you want to get a loan, a business loan, for example, okay, you want to do a business, so you need to present your proposal to the bank. Apa kamu punya business lah. Okay, and when it comes to a business proposal, that means you need to prove to the bank that your business will make money. Okay, let's say in 1 year time, in 5 years time, what is your short-term forecast? What will be your long-term forecast? Who are your customers, your targeted customers, where you will get your supply from. Itu kalau nak buat loan lah, if you want to get loan from the bank. Okay, or you want to secure loan from the government, for example. Okay, or any agency lah dekat Malaysia ni. Okay, but for a research proposal, something similar to a business proposal. But research proposal is, okay, if you recall just now, your individual assignment, you are only required to write proposal by means of chapter 1 to chapter 3. So in a research proposal, the word research proposal means you are proposing what you want to do. That's why in research proposal, it stops until chapter 3 only. So meaning that in a project, in a thesis, okay, for example, if a master student or PhD student, they need to, we have like this session what we call defense proposal. They need to defend their proposal. They need to present their proposal and answer questions during the session. Why they want to do it, how they want to do it. So basically, the study has not been done yet, meaning there is no data collection involved. They just want to show that this is the topic that I want to do. This is how I plan to do it. This is how I plan to collect the data. This is how I plan to analyze the data. So that's why the word research proposal only covers the introduction, literature review, and also the research method, meaning how you plan to analyze or investigate your, I mean, if you, let's say you rely on primary data using questionnaire, how do you plan to use your data? What are the methods that you want to use to analyze your data? Of course, at undergraduate level, you only learn the simple ANOVA correlation test, or if you use secondary data, you only learn the simple OLS, the regression. But in the real world, master or thesis, especially at PhD level, okay, you are required to use more approach, more methods for you to analyze your data. So if you go through this thesis, you may find some very complex, some maybe not really that complex, but the discussion is very detailed because PhD 3 to 5 years, okay, masters 1 to 2 years, okay. Yours is only like around 3 months, so that's why I don't really expect a lot, okay, to do the research, but at least you get some of the basic skill, okay, when it comes to the 5 chapters punya format. So for individual, when we mentioned that you only required to come up with a research proposal, so meaning your write-up will only stop until chapter 3. Okay, and at your level, because you are only using a simple approach, for example, ANOVA, cross tabulation. Okay, you can Google what is cross tabulation, okay, from your Google, okay, a simple approach to see the relationship between two variables, okay, a simple correlation test, okay, pie chart, bar chart, okay, all the simple tools that you learn in your basic statistics, okay, you can apply them in your research. You can use that in your research method lah, okay. So meaning there is no, so basically chapter 3 here will be the same as your chapter 3 in your group assignment. Okay, but you might want to do a bit different the way you present your your ni lah chapter 3 lah. I mean make it nicer ke, different style ke. There are different styles of approach that you can, so you can refer to any thesis that you like. Okay, you find that, oh, it's very interesting to present chapter 3 this way, so you might want to follow that way. Okay, because remember all these theses in the library has gone through process, okay, from the supervisor, examiners, comments, many comments here and there. So basically what you see in the final output in the thesis from the library is I mean the finished product that has gone through many stages. So you might as well refer to the good one, okay, and you might want to tiru. I mean might want to like copy the style of presenting the method section and whatnot lah. Okay, so that is research proposal. You write introduction, what you want to do, okay, how you want to do it, okay, and it stops until chapter 3. So chapter 3 here, when we discuss about the proposal, basically, once you know what is introduction, okay, how to write problem statement, so we're not going to like follow the sequence of the syllabus, very tightly, meaning saya akan go through, maybe jump up and down lah, because preparing the proposal is basically once you know what you want to do, okay, and we already go through each of the items from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, then you get the idea already. Okay, for example here the literature review, so I will teach you how to do literature review, and then of course refer to the thesis from past students in the library. Okay, you can see how the students present their literature review. So when you go through the literature review in most of the thesis that you find in the library, okay, literature review is not just you copy or you summarize what people have done, but also it's the section where you need to put in terms of the theory. So, for example, we as economic students, maybe some of you are agri students, okay, agricultural students. So, because this is an academic research, it's not like a business proposal. Business proposal, you want to get loan from the bank. kamu buatlah business proposal nicely. Okay, nak banyak graph, okay, nice graph here and there. But for academic proposal or academic writing, okay, academic thesis, we are grounded with economic theory. Okay, we are grounded with theory lah, and because we most of us are economic students, so we have many economic theories that you need to use, okay, to link, use that theory to support your topic. So, for example, if you're talking about inflation, for example, so there is theory on inflation. Okay, if you're talking about unemployment, there is theory on unemployment. Okay, so you need, so that part of that theory will also be included in the literature review. So once you go through, so we will go through some of the thesis, the easier one lah. Okay, so you can see, for example, 2.2 career development theories. Okay, so this student, okay, uses this theory to link what she wants to do or what the person wants to do with these theories. Meaning that theory will serve as the guideline lah. Okay, for example, you can use the theory to justify why the relationship between A and B should be positive, because that is what the theory says so. Okay, why the impact of A on B should be negative, because that is what the theory says so. So when you do your analysis, you must always go back to the theory, what the theory says, and then what other people have found. Do they find their conclusion, does it support the theory or not, or is it not the same as the theory? So this is the part of literature review. Okay, so of course, it's a lot to learn. Even my PhD student also still struggling to understand or to write good literature review, but it's an ongoing process. Okay, even students who went for Viva, meaning they already submitted the thesis and want to present their thesis in front of the examiners. When we go through the literature review, okay, there are students who cannot actually understand what they actually refer to. Meaning, sometimes they just write down, but they don't really understand why that paper should belong in the literature review. Okay, so of course, okay, being an undergraduate student, okay, so I don't really expect a lot, okay, but at least you should have the basic understanding how to write literature review, okay, and how to put the relevant theory, okay, to support your thesis lah. Okay, so that is what we're going to discuss briefly on the research proposal. So proposal means chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay, introduction, literature review, okay, and then the method, what you plan, how you plan to run your results, okay, or analyze your results. And then chapter 4 is about data collection and questionnaire. So again, okay, why questionnaire? Because the focus of this subject BER 3043 is to use primary data. Okay, of course, in the real world, okay, and if you refer to the thesis that I already downloaded, or you can, or you do your own search from the library website, many of the thesis also rely on secondary data. Meaning, for example, like even I myself in my own work, my interest is mostly using secondary data, not primary data. Meaning I use data that I download from various sources, okay, like World Bank, Central Bank of Malaysia, the Department of Statistics, and various other sources. Okay, so I use secondary data because I use a lot of regression in my work. Okay, not so much on this primary data. Okay, but many lecturers in the School of Economics, okay, their focus is on primary data, meaning they get the data from questionnaire. Okay, so that is why topic number 4 here, the focus is basically on the primary data. Primary data means you're going to use questionnaire. You need to construct questionnaire and then use that questionnaire to get the data that you require to answer your objective. Okay, so secondary data here refers to data that is already available from websites. Okay, and usually secondary data is commonly used for regression. Okay, so chapter number 4 here, basically the focus will be on guiding you how to construct a good questionnaire. Okay, and what are the common components a questionnaire should have. Okay, for example, section 1 will be maklumat awal, like for example, your age, your gender, you know, the background of your family, all those things lah. So that one we will share later. Okay, once we reach the questionnaire section punya ni lah topik. And then section 5, topic number 5, measurement. So I'm sure everyone of you have taken basic statistics. And this term here, nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio data is not uncommon. You already learned this thing. If you already forgotten, pergi buka balik your notes on basic stats. What are the data that fall under this different category? Okay, so why are we concerned about this thing? Because when you collect your data, you need to group them according to this category. Okay, how you want to put them in SPSS, for example, the program that we're going to use to run the data. You need to define, you need to categorize if your data is based on. So you need to tell SPSS whether that data is ordinal, nominal, or ratio. Okay, and then we also need to do, in actual research, you need to also do some basic testing that your data is actually valid. Okay, maknanya tak ada, there is no much error lah. That's why when you do data collection, okay, especially if you hire enumerators, okay, pembanci. So that's why in chapter number 6 here, we have ethics in fieldwork. Responsibility of enumerators. Enumerator is pembanci lah. Okay, pembanci means, for example, if I want to do a research, let's say in Kedah, in all the area in Kedah, I cannot do that alone. So I will need to hire some part-time enumerators, pembanci, that will help me to collect data. So they will go to these places, okay, meet the respondent, ask the questions, and record them in the questionnaire. Okay, and then come back and give me back the questionnaire lah that already been filled up. Okay, so when you rely on enumerators, you expect that when they ask the questions, the respondent can understand what being asked. Okay, and the information that are being recorded in the questionnaire is correct lah. Maknanya when you transfer those data into computer, okay, you want consistency. Okay, keseragaman lah, or consistent in your data. You do not want, some person gives you very small numbers, suddenly some person give you very big numbers on certain data. That shows that maybe the person that you ask that does not really understand the question, or even the enumerators are recording it incorrectly. So those are but of course I will not discuss too much on this lah, but these are the issues, okay, whenever that you rely on prime, because you need to make sure that the data that you collect, it takes time. Sometimes it takes 6 months to 1 year. Okay, if the scope of your study is very big, so it might take several months to collect the data. So once you do it, you do not want to make too much errors, okay, kesilapan, because to do the data collection again is very time consuming, okay, very costly, makan banyak duit dan sebagainya. Especially if you are doing PhD or masters, you cannot repeat the process, more than once, because there is just no time for you to do so. So if you do it once, you want to do it, correctly lah. Okay, so these are the things that the researchers must pay attention, okay, so that your data becomes useful, valid. Okay, tak ada masalah lah dengan your data. Okay, and then of course we discuss a bit on sampling. So I will not touch too much on this, but this is how you want to categorize your population. Okay, for example, here in UUM, we have different schools, right? School of Economics. In COB alone, I think there are 6 to 7 schools, if I'm not mistaken. So School of Accounting, School of Management. So we can group our students according to different schools. So that could fall under what we call as cluster or stratified sampling. Okay, so for example, you want your sample to be grouped according to income level, M40, T20, B40, and whatnot. So that is how you want to categorize. Okay, and then finally, chapter on this testing and reporting data. So basically, this got to do with the analysis. Okay, so of course, it looks very simple here because you are being undergraduate, okay, we don't really expect the analysis part to be so technical, meaning that you only gonna use analysis that you learn in some of the previous subjects, okay, namely basic stats. Okay, basic stats, you learn the one-way hypothesis, one sample, two sample hypothesis, and also the three sample or more using ANOVA. Okay, you also learn on correlation. So regression you learn in basics econometrics. Okay, but the focus I think will be more on this ANOVA and the hypothesis testing lah. Okay, and then finally chapter 9, okay, it's just mentioning this is the structure of a complete thesis. Chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, literature review. Chapter 3, the third. 4, the findings, and followed by chapter 5, discussion and conclusion. Okay, and then of course the last part here, how to write references. Okay, so of course I will not touch this on the last day of lecture. So how to write references is part and parcel of doing research. If you go through any journal or any thesis, okay, the last part of the thesis will be here, the references or the bibliography. Okay, I think the proper name will be references. Okay, and how to write the references properly. You can see here some of in one reference part where it must be in italic. Okay, some in not italic, in normal writing, and then okay, some and how you actually write the person's name. Okay, so this is the part where many students, even PhD students, get it wrong. So you need to know how to properly cite paper. I mean, how to properly do the references. Okay, so one of the easiest way, of course, if you use it, it already has this built-in function where you can just copy and paste the article that you refer to and transport it into the references section. Another way is using reference manager. Okay, a free, so nowadays there are many free software that can organize your references in a nice way, and you can set what is the formatting that you want. In my case, I use Zotero. Okay, you can download this for free, Zotero. Okay, Zotero you can organize all the papers, so all the papers. Okay, and you can export the entire collection or just one article at a time. Okay, for example, here, if I right click, create bibliography from item. If I click here, and then once you click on that, you can choose different formatting. Of course, the most common one is what we call APA, American Psychological Association, APA. Okay, or people call it APA lah, APA 7. Okay, so APA is one of the most common one, or also Chicago, depending on the some journal require different style, but I think for most of the time we are using APA. Okay, for thesis, I think the format that we're gonna use is APA lah. Okay, so if I click OK, okay, and then let's say if I copy and paste from that, and then I can just paste. So this is the format according to APA from that particular paper, and you can see that it's already citing it according to the format. This is in italic. I do not do anything else except done by the program Zotero. Zotero is a free software. Okay, you can download this, and I will show you how to actually import the references into this program. Okay, and then you can just copy and paste, extract whatever that you have simpan, that you keep in the references. Okay, and you can just put directly into the references list later on. So this is expect to share, okay, during our 14 week, not just me doing the talking. Okay, so when we discuss thesis, okay, from students, master or PhD, okay, don't get macam rasa takut, oh, because this is PhD thesis. Okay, I don't really concern about the issue, the method, too much on the theory. It's just how the student actually present the idea. Okay, so I think that should be the focus of our future sessions next week onwards. Okay, so yeah, so that will be on the entire plan lah. So I may not stick like the flow, I will not go through like chapter by chapter, I mean item by item. So it depends on what we plan to do, but usually the plan will go through the sequence of the chapters, meaning we will start with the introduction section first, how to write introduction, how actually you want to determine what will be the issue that you want to do. So I think the first thing, of course, once I mention or explain this, in general, then we're going to do some discussion from past thesis according to groups. For example, for example, that week, I can call any person at random to discuss what would be the
Doctor, your line is very lag.
Sorry?
Your line is very lag. Just
Line lagging.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me stop the video. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this and then maybe we can decide maybe in week number 3, for example, or week 4, maybe the earlier the better lah for you guys to actually come up with your proposed tajuk, the topic that you want to do for your research. So once you stick on that, hopefully it remains until habis semester lah, until the end of the semester. So I don't mind any topic, but the scope should be within economics issue lah. Jangan pula pergi buat something to do with psychology. Kesan the impact of bully, for example, on the apa tu, pembesaran budak-budak ke apa ke. So that one nothing to do with economy. So we want to do, there are many economics issue that you can that you can think of, especially now during this pandemic. So you can do some simple Google search, read on the newspaper what are the current issues now. So so that one we will once we start our discussion by next week. Then maybe you can you can start among yourself, fikirlah nak buat topik apa. Must be something on economics, because we are doing this under the scope of economics discussion. So jangan, you can do on pertanian, on padi, on kelapa sawit, on palm oil, or on labor, on inflation issue, but because we are relying on primary data using questionnaire, so you might want to find something related to that lah. And for example, online business, for example, people do online business now with this gig economy. Gig economy means economy based on freelance approach, like this Foodpanda, GrabCar, GrabFood, those kind of economic activities. Or you want to ask something to do with unemployment among graduates, about perception of receiving low pay. The salary now of undergraduates, fresh undergraduate, is around the same amount that I got when I first started working. So it's a bit sad lah, because after many years, still undergraduates are receiving pay, like 15, 20 years ago. So it's not it's not what we expect to happen, but maybe one reason is because of the pandemic as well. So there are many issues that you can think of, to do. But of course, if you want to come up with a topic, make sure that you have some references or journals or thesis that you can refer to. So this is where this collection, or this, when you go through the list of thesis, so you can do something very similar to what other students have done. But as I mentioned, one advantage of using primary data, maybe I did not mention this. Even my own thesis student, undergraduate thesis student, I think I mentioned this last Monday, right? My own undergraduate thesis student, they do the same topic. They do the same topic, but everyone is based on the data is collected from their own hometown lah. So meaning, even though they are doing exactly the same tajuk, impact of COVID to the small scale traders, Okay, they are using the same questionnaire. Everyone is using the same questionnaire, but because the data comes from their own hometown, so we can consider it as a unique or individual work lah. There is no issue of plagiarism ke plagiat, even though they are doing same topic. So you can apply something similar to this as well. You can refer to the past thesis. Okay, you can refer to the past thesis that uses primary data. Okay, but maybe the thesis was the focus was done, let's say in Pulau Langkawi, for example. Okay, I don't know, I just pick up at random. So you want to do something maybe at a different pulau, for example. Okay, so you might want to so some many of these theses you can find the questionnaire at the end of the study. Okay, if they are using primary data, okay, let me show you, because the questionnaire should be part of the submission as well. Okay, it's part of the thesis. Okay, they should have the questionnaire in the in part of the thesis. They need to compile together with the questionnaire. Okay, let me see. Letak kat sini. Usually memang ada lah. Usually you should have the questionnaire included in the thesis, okay, as part of the requirement. But I'm not sure lah, because I'm not using primary data, okay. But usually you will find the questionnaire part of the thesis. Letak kat sini. Kalau tak ada, then you kena cari yang lain lah, okay. This one, yeah, there is no thesis. Yeah, there is no apa tu questionnaire, okay, included. Okay, let me show you one okay, one project. Okay, so like this one. Okay, so this is about PTPTN issue. Okay, student loan repayment. So this is not from Malaysia. This is from a university in Brunel, London. Okay, West Brunel. So at the end of the thesis, you can see that the author actually has this questionnaire included. Okay, so you might find something similar to the UUM thesis as well. So I'm not sure. Maybe some students they do include, some don't. Okay, but for example, like this student, okay, this thesis has the questionnaire included as part of the full thesis. Okay, so if you're lucky, then you can have the actual thesis lah. I mean the actual questionnaire lah, or you can just Google contoh soal selidik, example of questionnaire. I mean you can find them in the Google search as well. Okay, so that will be the idea lah. So next week we're gonna start with our discussion on what is research, okay, how do we define research and whatnot. Okay, so but I'm not going to spend too much time on the book. Okay, so pay attention to your OL and also your group WhatsApp. Okay, so if I put any instructions, so if I upload the Google Drive link and you need to choose, for example, 5 theses from that, okay, and then we're gonna discuss that maybe on next Thursday ke apa ke, or next Monday. Okay, so that's what we will do lah, because I don't find it very interesting for me just to do the talking alone. Okay, so that will be the plan for next week lah. Okay, and then yeah, so I will try to add more to the collection of thesis. So far I have 53, so I will download more lah. I think I should reach around, I can have around 60 to 70 to 80 thesis, okay, which I think should be more than enough. There are only 10 groups of you, so if 10 groups, one group get 5 thesis, so 10 multiplied by 5, only around 50 thesis. So you have more than enough options, okay, and you can even find more that is not the same as mine lah. Okay, so remember that the title of the paper should be the if you download directly from the library website, okay, every file will start with the title of the metric number. Okay, so if you want the one that you can download without any restrictions, usually you can start with the older one, meaning do not go for the latest one, because usually latest thesis has restrictions on, for example, here, every paper that I click, usually I will get this one, this notification restricted. Okay, but if you go for the older thesis back in 2015, 2016 or 18, like this one, this is 2018. Okay, so here you can download them directly. Okay, so yeah, so if I miss or I did not include that in the, because there's so many for me to download, so I actually, this is not my responsibility to download everything. You can this, I'm just helping you to get some idea, but then you can always find more evidence or more examples, okay, from the library website. Okay, so for you to use lah in your okay, like this one, you can see the questionnaire is given from the thesis as well. Okay, like this one. So you can, if you want to do something similar like this one, okay, then you can use the example from the questionnaire, okay, as part of the collection. So I can just download. Let me download this one first. Okay. Yeah. So now the thesis is already. So this is the latest one just now on the okay, microfinance factors and religiosity influencing blah 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 lah, small scale among tekun borrowers. Okay, so this is master MSc. Okay, not from economics, but at least there are some issues on economy as well, because microfinance, okay, is part of the discussion in economics as well. Okay, so if you're lucky, you get something like this. Okay, you can use the questionnaire included in the thesis, so at least you can get a good start, okay, on the discussion. Okay, so any questions before I end our session for today? Macam biasa, semua orang senyap.
No, Doctor.
Semua faham lah. Nanti bila tanya soalan tadi baru tahu faham ke tak faham lah. Tak ada apa soalan lah. Semua dah nak pergi makan ya. Dah lapar lah.
So far tak ada, Doktor.
Okay, tak apa. So I will upload the thesis, okay, and then let you decide what. But I mean, if you find the thesis too simple, I mean, jangan cari yang terlampau. I mean, it depends lah. You can mix and match lah. Okay, the simple one, and then maybe a bit yang lebih banyak isu nak bincang ke apa ke, more things for you to discuss. Okay, so at least, you know, when you want to do the discussion, it's not just one sentence that come from you lah. Okay, so I mean, what's her name? Nur Shukrina.
So I got a question.
Okay.
For the date for due date for the individual and group assignment is when?
I mentioned last Monday. I mean, it should be around you know, week 11 or week 12, something like that. Okay, so I think on the due date too, no need to worry yet lah, because you know, once you decide what topic, and then you know, and then we we go into week 3, week 4, then I think we can have a clear timeline, okay, when to actually do the submission. Okay, because you got 2 projects, individual and also group. Okay, but I think because we have 10 groups, okay, as I mentioned before, one session maybe we can have around 3 to 4 groups to present, so that may take us around 2 weeks to complete all the presentation. So that might take around week 12 or week 13 to do it. So the submission should be around before that lah, okay, week 11, week 10. Okay, the individual should be submitted earlier lah, maybe around week 10. So I'm just giving you just rough the guideline on the week, okay, not the actual date. Okay, but it should be around week 10 and week 11, okay, for the group and also individual assignment. Okay, after you submit, after you submit individual, then we have the group presentation. After the presentation, then you need to submit your group assignment, which may be towards the end of the semester, week 13, meaning that you want to do some modification, some changes after you do the presentation. Then maybe you can have around week 13, latest by end of semester lah, okay, so that because there is no exam, right? So meaning that maybe we can wait until week 14 for you to submit the group assignment, but individual should be submitted earlier lah, maybe around week 10. Okay, week 10 or week 11 the latest. Okay, because you only do the same thing as your group, but only chapter 1 until chapter 3. Okay, so never, don't worry too much on the deadline, because you know there are still plenty of things that you need to learn. And then if you the main thing is to start thinking on what topic that you want to do. Okay, you can use the link that I provided just now on this library website, okay, to do your search. Okay, basically this is from the, I mean, you can go to the library and find the thesis collection, okay, where you can do your own search. Okay, and you can search according to what title or what keyword, and then you can start thinking what you want to do based on the outcomes of your search. Okay, so from there you can discuss among your colleagues lah, okay, among your group members, what is the potential. Maybe you can list 3 to 5 tajuk among yourself, and then see lah which one is the most interesting, okay, easy for you to do presentation. Yet I mean, not just, don't look for something too easy, but also interesting in terms of you can get something out of it lah, in terms of the knowledge, and also the whenever I ask questions, at least you can have you know, the answers to these questions. Okay, so I think that's it for today.